What other gear do I think I need for my studio and why? A lot of people ask me this question, and of course, as somebody that has hardware, a lot of people that have hardware, a lot of people watching this video are people that like hardware, and the answer is I'm never done with my studio. We like to say, well, I just need just one more piece and I'll be done, but we know something else come out, we'll find another reason to get it though. I found a way to fight against that where I basically ask myself, and what I get, and is what I'm trying to get that's new, do I need it or do I want it, right? At this point, I don't have an unlimited amount of funds, so I can't just get whatever I want to get. So I make sure that everything I get is something that I need. Technically, let me start over. I don't need none of this stuff. The only thing I need is a computer. As you see, I have that because I'm doing videos. So that's all you really need. Computer, DAW, and you good to go. But since I do want a fully fledged digital analog studio where I have analog gear, in that perspective, in that aspect, there are some things that I would need to fulfill that role, right? To fulfill that whole plan. And right now, I've said this before in my videos, I got hybrid analog, digital, MPC groovebox sampler, old school groovebox sampler, and I got a wave state over there somewhere. You can't see right now. So it goes to ask the question, what else do I need? Oh, I also have an SP404. You can't see it right now. Let's see if you can just bang, and you see I got the turntables too. So I pretty much got more than what most people have. I have more stuff than what a lot of producers that I work with have though. And it's not that I need it, it's not that I'm better than them, not that they're better than me. We all have our own reasons for what we have. I know amazing producers that just have a laptop. That's all they got. Me, I just like to, I like to have this stuff. This is a hobby, collecting these things kinda, and it's also something that I like to do. So the question is, am I done with my studio? No. There are some things I still want, but I've found a way to cut off the gear acquisition syndrome a lot of us have, aka gas. I don't get anything that heavily overlaps with something else that I have unless there's a specific reason. For example, I'm not going to get another groove box, so I'm not getting the MPC sample. I'm not getting the Electron, Digitech, or any of those things because I already had this MPC. Even though I do want to, deal with Electron's gear, I love their sequencers. I've never got to use one, but just by hearing what they do, it's amazing. But unless this breaks, that would be the only way I would get an Electron, is if this breaks, or if I could, because this to me is better than Electron. It does more from what I want from my studio, so I wouldn't switch out. But there are things that I do want that I feel like it either fills a specific role or it helps expand my studio. Number one, the Behringer Pro 800. It's a fully fledged polyphonic analog synth. I think it has 8 voices, and it's a remake, a Behringer style remake of the Sequential 600. So you already know it's a legendary synthesizer. Why do I want that? You heard me say before, I have a hybrid digital analog synth, and this has a polyphonic analog engine inside of it, which is great. The problem is that it only has 4 voices, and with those 4 voices, I can only go so far with the analog engine. So for the most part, when it comes to leads and basses, I'm straight, but pads, I love pads. I love pad sounds. I can't do it so much with the only 4 voices for the pads. I really wish Roland would have made this 6 voices. I wouldn't even be wanting the Behringer Pro 800. I think that would have did great for me, but they didn't. So in order to fulfill my itch for making pads the way I want to make it, I need something that has more voices. The Behringer Pro 800 is the best option I've heard, that I found. It's portable like the Model D, so I could, I'm going to actually put this down underneath my rack because I don't change none of these settings. These settings are here. I'm leaving these settings as it is. The only thing I would do is take out an oscillator, which I can do by just clicking the button down there, right? So I'm probably going to put it right here for right now so I can get to it, because I'll be needing to change the parameters on it a lot more than I need for this. But yeah, man, for pads, it's going to do the job. Because digital synthesis is great, and I have a lot of digital synthesizers. I have this, which does wavetables and virtual analog. I have this, which does PCM samples, virtual analog, and I think some analog modeling, and I have the wave state. And when it comes to digital synths, I don't have the main type of digital synthesis that I feel like stands out is FM and physical modeling. I think that stands out to me because virtual analog is this digital synthesis trying to be analog. So if you already have an analog synthesizer, there's no reason, not that it doesn't do its job though, but of course, if virtual analog is trying to be like analog's more than likely going to sound better to most people. It sounds better to me. Virtual analog sounds good. It's great to layer on top of analog, but analog just sounds better, right? So, when it comes to digital synthesis, FM, which is completely different from analog, makes its own sounds that analog can't even make, and additive synthesis, which a lot of those synthesizers cost a lot of money, so I'm not even getting into that right now. And what else I said? Physical modeling. Those are the main 3 that actually stand out, as opposed to, in competition with analog. Everything else is just trying to be analog for the most part. Not everything. There are different types of digital synthesizers, but the ones that really stand out in the synthesizer world, like I said, FM, additive, and physical modeling are the main ones. FM, heavy on the FM. A lot of people like FM synthesizer. I think that's digital synthesis. It's the main thing. That's his best type of synthesis. Probably FM, the most sought after. I want to say it's best. Everybody has their own opinion. Everything can do other things, but that's his most sought after. It's most famous, right? So, I kind of went off on a tangent right there, but yes, I want the Behringer Pro 800 because I want to add the extra voices for when I'm doing pads. This has 64 digital voices, but only 4. So when I'm doing pads with the digital synthesizer engine, it sounds great. When you want to layer it with the analog synth, there's only so much the analog can follow on part. I feel like if I have 8 more voices with the strength of the Pro 800, it'll definitely do what it needs to do. Only other option I seen would have been that would have did its job would have been to get the UBXA, affordable option, the UBXA module. But I feel like Oberheim sound overtakes Roland. I don't want something to overtake the Roland. I like Roland sound. I want something to add on to it. So yeah, that would be my next thing for my studio, my next synth for my studio. I just want to say that I didn't mention anything about effect boxes or anything like that, compressors or anything, because I'm never going to say I'm not going to get into that. Right now, I don't see myself getting into that, but there's a lot of things I didn't see happening when it comes to being a producer. I didn't see myself doing any of this. I remember there was a time when I was like, give me a MIDI keyboard and I'm straight. And then I started learning and I was like, nah, I want all this stuff. So when I'm talking about what I need here in the studio, I'm talking about just synthesizers and, instruments. But back to what I was saying. So the Behringer Pro 800 is one I need to add to my studio. It's affordable. It sounds great. I'm probably going to plug it in through MIDI, through this. I mean, this is going to be MIDI out to this, so this is, it'll be sitting right here. So it's, it's going to actually, I'm going to be controlling it with this the whole time. What I can say is the next one is probably going to be a Tasty Chips GR2. Now that is a granular synthesizer sampler thing, I believe. I'm not sure if it's sampler or synthesizer though, but basically it's going to add granular synthesis to my rig, and that's something that I can only do with Falcon. And I think MPC has some granular plugins that they just were talking about. I'm not sure. I might be mistaken, but I know Falcon does. But like I said, only in the box. So there's certain things I won't. It's not gonna be the same, right? When you have it with hardware, it does a little different. Things react differently with hardware, and I really think it'll be a great addition to my rig for certain things I want to do. That'll probably be the last one I get. The Behringer Pro 800 probably be the first one more than likely, and that'll probably be the last one. But the one I'm probably going to get in between is the Chord Chaos Replay. The reason I'm going to get that, and I know it has a bad rep online. People have been talking about this is trash. What was Chord doing? And I'm going to get into that in another video I'm going to make about why I'm actually getting that. Even though I already have an SP404. And the reason why I'm going to get that is because for live performances. I recently did a beat battle, a producer event. Let me say that, I like saying that, producer event. And I used the SP404 and then realized in so many words that I want to add the Chord Chaos Replay to my live performances. I feel like it'll do a lot for what I need to do. I'll be explaining that in a video coming up soon when I get into the differences between the SP and the Chaos Replay from what I've seen, and how I'm going to be using them. And yeah, I'm going to get that too. So that's 3 pieces I need to add to my production rig. Like I said, Behringer Pro 800, Tasty Chips GR2, and the Chord Chaos Replay. I didn't get into what it is yet. It is another effect box like this. It's a live looper effect box with the XY pad for the effects. It has 221 effects, I believe, so that's more than this. And yeah, so it's just a great machine for live performances. A lot of people have been complaining about the price though, but and I think it costs too much at its entry level. At its like retail price, I think it costs too much too, not gonna lie. But I think Chord is going to provide a lot of updates for it, and I think once it gets its updates, sorry about that. Once it gets its updates, I think that we will see why it costs $1,000 at the retail price. I probably will not be getting it at retail price. I will probably be getting it on the used market because I'm not spending $1,000 for any of my gear at this point. I'm in the spending hundreds of dollars for my gear. Even I found this for $700. I like to famously say, because this was a steal. But yeah, those are the 3 I'm going to get, and I will be letting you guys know when I get them, because every time I get a new piece of gear, I will be, reviewing it and, demoing it on here, especially since I'm going to be going through this journey with you guys. So you already know. Holler at me. Let's make it happen. Junior Bones President, the Teflon Shogun, and that's what I got to add to my studio.